Hello and welcome back. I never know if that's the right way to start these videos. Maybe I should be starting with something a little bit more aggressive. I don't know. Anyway, when you're a content creator, you think about weird things like that. But what we're going to talk about is if you are 40 years old or over, why you should be starting a YouTube channel. But before that, I've got a couple of niche ideas that I think would be kind of interesting. The first one, and all of these niche ideas that I come up with are just based on my experience, things that have happened to me over the weekend or something that I see driving into work. This is what I call work. Coming to the park bench down by the lake. I don't know that I want to sit on this side. Coming to the park bench down by the lake and talking to you guys for however long. All right. So, a couple niche ideas. The first one is one that happened to me over the weekend. And it is based on pool, accessories, knowledge, swimming, things of that nature. So this is what happened to me. My wife, who has been managing our above ground pool, we got this little, I think it's called like a best way pool. And the kids won't get in the pool because all of the sand, we have a sand filter, all of the sand is at the bottom of the pool. And through her research, she determined that the reason why the sand was in the pool was because the pool needed to be backwashed. And because I'd never backwashed a pool before, I had to go look online to learn how to backwash a pool. And what I saw were a bunch of people creating step-by-step videos on how to backwash a pool. Not just the type of pool that we have, every type of pool, sand filters, cartridge filters, all of that stuff. So I had to watch that video and learn how to do it. So I went and learned how to do it. You actually have to buy a special type of fireman's hose in order to do it, buy additional pieces. We backwashed the pool, and that didn't solve the issue. Oh, by the way, I had to drive to our local pool accessories spot at 10 a.m. on Sunday, right when they opened up. Backwash the pool, didn't work. So what do? We go back to the internet, and we try and figure out why there's still sand at the bottom of the pool. So it turns out one of the things that the YouTube video suggested was to empty out the sand and put new sand in. But then when we emptied out the sand receptacle, keeper, bucket, whatever it's called, we found that there was a crack in one of the pieces. And so she looked, and the reason why there's sand at the bottom of our pool is because this little piece is cracked. Now stay with me, because I'm going somewhere with this. Okay, so we look online to see if we can just buy this piece, this replacement. I don't even know what this piece is called, right? And it turns out the piece that we need is no longer being made. So I go back to the pool store, and I have to buy a whole new sand receptacle. This sand receptacle was like $400. And if I had to purchase the sand receptacle and the actual filter together, that would have been closer to $700, $800. So think about that for a second. If you created content talking about the different, and there's different size barrels, right? We had a 12-gallon barrel. Now we have a 16-gallon barrel. You can talk about the differences. You can talk about what these barrels do, what the purpose of these barrels are. Because I have no idea. And when I go to the store, I have no idea which one to buy, and I don't know why a 12 versus a 16 and which type of barrel I need for the type of pool that we have. So again, basic things that are happening to me are excellent niches. And what really caught my eye, and when you're a content creator, you'll start noticing it, and more so of a marketer. If you're a marketer or a person that has made money online, you'll start to notice things a little bit differently. One of the videos I was watching, this guy actually was giving away a free pool guide. And he was doing that to collect email addresses. And he was probably doing affiliate marketing on the back end, or at least selling a digital product of some sort. But that's the thing, guys. You can create you can build a mailing list or a digital product based on literally anything, which I think is so cool. So again, and the reason why I brought up the pool situation is because let's say you earn a 10% commission on this little sand receptacle. Now, if you know what it's called, put it in the comment section, because I have no idea, obviously. I just wanted the thing to be done so the kids could get in the pool and be happy, right? My pain point was, I had a couple pain pain points. One, the kids refused to get in the pool because of all the sand. And two, the other more pressing pain point was I was tired of dealing with repairing this pool. I had spent probably 4 or 5 hours dealing with this, and I just wanted a solution. I just wanted to be done with it and over with it. And so I was willing to pay for a solution. That's why we bought a whole new sand receptacle. Anyway, let's say you earn a 10% commission on the sand receptacle, and it's, how much did I say it was? $300, $400. That's a 40% commission for one product. Okay, if you promote or recommend a certain type of sand filter and receptacle that costs $700, that's a $70 commission. And you get 1 or 2 of those a day, you've got a nice little business set up, right? So you don't have to teach people how to make money online if you want to make money online. Just look at the problems that you've solved recently, or problems you've solved for other people, problems that are happening. And I'll talk about another niche in just a second that I saw coming into work. But that's all you have to do. That's all making money online is. Identifying a problem, just one, and creating content to solve that problem. And then monetizing it. Either you monetize it with something you create or find something that's already out there. It's as simple as that. Now, I'm not going to lie to you and tell you that it's easy. It's really simple. It's just the execution, doing it repeatedly every single day when it feels like it's not working, when you're struggling, when you're having a bad day, when you've spent all day at work, or the kids are being a pain in your side, still getting up and doing it because it's, you know that the end result is there or can be there, is the hard part. The execution is the hard part. The X's and O's, you can go out and learn it. You can teach anybody. You could teach someone that doesn't even have a phone how to turn a phone on and start making content, but it's doing the repeatable actions every single day, even when you're bored, tired, and annoyed. Anyway, let's talk about niche number 2. I don't know about you guys, but driving into work, I noticed that there are a lot of auto repair shops, a lot of shops that do brakes, oils, tire changes, things like that. What if you created a YouTube channel or TikTok or whatever, teaching people how to change oil in their car? And the reason why I think this is a really cool opportunity, a really interesting opportunity, is if the United States is headed in a recession, what usually happens, like, people don't stop needing things done. The cars don't stop breaking down. They stop hiring people to do it for them. And what they'll do is they'll turn to the internet and they'll start looking up how to change the oil in a Subaru Outback. And you could create a video teaching people how to change the oil in a 2025 Subaru Outback. And then you could actually put the affiliate links to the exact type of oil filter and the oil that they need and the pan and everything else. And you could earn commissions that way. Same with brakes. People are going to eventually, as brake repair gets too expensive, it is no longer affordable, they could start looking up how to change the brake pads, or how do you know if you need new brakes? And once again, I think there's an affiliate marketing opportunity off of that as well. So, and also, I think maybe I talked about this, or maybe I talked about it on TikTok, but tire changes, tire rotation, how to check the tread on your tires for different types of seasons, summer tires versus spring and winter tires all season, which type of tires are best for which types of situation. I think those are all cool opportunities. I'm going to move because it's actually kind of cold today, so I'm going to get in the sun a little bit. All right, so those are the niche ideas. Tell me what you think about them. Tell me if you think you could implement, how you could get started on one of those. But I think those niches are really cool. And again, all the ideas that I come up with, if you go back and watch some of my videos, most of my videos, all the ideas that I come up with are things that have happened to me recently. You know, things that, like I talked about, that death and dying. That, obviously, my mom passing away back in December, I had to deal with that process. I just got a letter in the mail from a bank telling me that I need to submit more information. What am I going to do? I'm going to go on the internet and I'm going to have to Google or ChatGPT or search or YouTube whatever it is that they're looking for so that I can give them the information that they need. right? Anyway, and I gotta go do that. Anyway, so let's talk about why you should, if you're 40 years old, start a YouTube channel. Now, I'll be 41 later on this month. Happy birthday to me. And I think we think about YouTube wrong. Like, there was a part of YouTube not too long ago where you could just share who you are, what you do, what you know, and it wasn't business first. Now YouTube is very heavily business first, and I think people jump into YouTube with a business mindset. No, I'm not telling you to forget about the business aspect, the money aspect of YouTube, because part of the reason why we do things is because we can get paid for it. Now, I've seen, side quest here, I've seen a bunch of people comment that say they don't do YouTube for the money, they do it for the passion. I guess. I think there would be other, like, unless you're a filmmaker, I find that really hard to believe. I feel like one of the reasons why you're doing YouTube is the money or potential money that you can make. You might have convinced yourself or told yourself that you're not really doing it for the money and you're okay with not making any money, but I assure you that if you were making $3,000 a month from YouTube, you wouldn't give it back. Or if you were making $3,000 from YouTube and then you stopped making money from YouTube, you wouldn't be annoyed or frustrated. You'd say, well, I'm not doing it for the money, I'm doing it for the love of the game. I think that, and I think part of it, we're going deep in the side quest, is people have this perception. It's a weird thing in the United States, at least here in the Midwest. It's like you have to be humble about making money. You have to be like, oh, gee golly, I accidentally made $5,000. Oh, shucks, I made $5,000 or $10,000, whatever it is. And because of that, people oftentimes convince themselves or tell themselves that they're not doing it for the money. And you are. You're doing it for the money. If you are consistently uploading videos, I'm talking about at least 3 videos per week, and you're looking up things like how to improve your thumbnail, if you're looking up things like how to get better at video editing, you're doing it for the money. Because if you weren't, you wouldn't care if nobody saw your videos. Anyway, let's get back to the main topic. If you're over 40, you need to start a YouTube video for a number of reasons, and hopefully I remember them all. But first and foremost, it's a cool opportunity to document where you are in life. Because you're probably at the halfway point. You're probably at the halfway point. And recently, just sitting down and chatting has allowed me to think about YouTube a little bit differently. Like I'm creating something that my kids, as long as YouTube's around and as long as I have a YouTube channel, my kids could go back and look at. They can see how I think and thought at the time, and life events, because I'm interweaving in these vlog style videos, I'm interweaving life events. You can create YouTube videos for the future generations, and it's not something that previous generations had that opportunity to do. I can talk directly to my kids 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now, and they can remember what Dad was like. I just got the feels there. Just got some emotions. Got to clear those up. Anyway, that's one reason, and I got to get off that topic. Well, maybe we'll come back to it a little bit later. Anyway, the second reason is you can share your skills that you've learned from a completely different perspective and how you've learned them, right? The skills that you have, the knowledge that you have, cannot be transferred easily. Back in the day, people used to write them down, and it would take forever, and things would get lost in translation. But whatever you know how to do, whether you've worked at a job, let's say you worked at a job for 30, 40 years. One of the last jobs I had, I was a center director for a higher education university. I worked in higher education for maybe 10 years, and so I can share those knowledge, skills, and experience through my YouTube channel to help other people. I work primarily with adult students, and I can talk about the fear that they had trying to go back to school and trying to juggle going back to school with having a full-time job and a full-time family. And I can talk about some of the success stories that they had. I can also talk about some of the horror stories. I can talk about some of the problems that they went through, trying to find time to study, trying to get their homework done while trying to help their kids get their homework done, trying to um, trying to get an education when their boss maybe wasn't supportive of it. And so you can talk about whatever you know, whether it's work related or hobby related, from a level of expertise. If you've made it to level 40, right? I'm 41. I'll be 41. I will have made it to level 41 in a few weeks, God willing, right? If you've made it to level 40, you have done something that many people have been unable to do or want to do. And you can share your knowledge, skills, and experience, how you got to that level from your perspective, because my perspective is going to be completely different than your perspective. My perspective is from a kid that grew up in a suburb, not too far from where I am right now, two-parent household. My dad worked as a forklift driver, third shift. My mom worked two jobs. You know, you can share your experience from different perspectives, and people will connect with that. You can help the younger generation move forward and learn and grow faster. So if you are over 40, definitely learn how to, and you don't even have to be an expert at content creation. You can just sit down and talk into the phone like I'm doing. What I would encourage you to do, what I recommend that you do, is connect your conversations, because that's what we're doing. We're just having a conversation today. Connect your conversations with a skill or a problem that your audience wants to learn. So, for example, maybe you're into knitting. Talk about how you learn knitting and how knitting has changed over the years. You can talk about how crocheting was this way, how crocheting was done back in your day, back in my day, and the challenges that you went through crocheting that maybe younger crocheters won't have to experience. How automation may speed those up. But what you can do is simply, and what we do, all we're doing is we're helping the younger self, our younger selves. So if you're 40 years old and you're hesitant about creating content, getting on the internet, nobody's going to care what you look like. Nobody's going to care what you sound like. The only thing that they care about is that you're providing education or entertainment. If you can help them learn something, if you can help them accelerate the learning curve, if you can help them go from A to B quicker, they're going to follow along. They're going to listen. They're going to be active. They're going to be grateful, because you have a level of knowledge, skills, and experience that other people don't have and may never get to. So think about it from that perspective. You have a gift that you need to share with people. You owe it to someone. You owe it to your younger self to help them know what you now know faster and easier and without the pain that you went through. And this could be about anything. If you like talking about relationships, that's fine. Talk from your perspective. Share your understanding and your knowledge and what it took you forever to learn. That's one of those interesting ones. Is, it took me forever to learn X, but now that I know it, I want to share it with you. I'll give you an example. It took me forever to learn how to create content, but once I learned it, I turned around and I wanted to share it with my younger self so that he could learn how to make content better, faster, and easier. So if you're over 40 like I am, start creating content, not thinking that you are being a content creator or a YouTuber. You are just sitting down in front of a phone, a camera, and a mic, and you are helping your younger self. You are giving real advice to your younger self about a topic you know a lot about. That's all you're doing. And if you can do that 3 times a week. And what you can even do is just document what's currently going on in your world today. Talk about things that are happening in your world from your perspective. so that we can look back and you can say, hey, I was completely wrong about this, or I was spot on. Because if you're 40, you have the foresight that a 30-year-old doesn't have, or a 20-year-old doesn't have, or a 15-year-old doesn't have. You know, we're entering into, some of us are grandpas. And what cool opportunity would it be if you could give advice to your grandchildren who might be 3 years old and might not remember you or won't remember you, but you've got this YouTube channel and you can talk directly to them. You can share the stories that you've earned. You can share the stripes that you've earned. Like all of these different cuts and scratches and stuff that I have are stripes that I've earned on my road to make it to level 40. This is a weird video. I didn't think this video would be so emotional and thought-provoking. This is another benefit of creating content. Oh, this is actually better. I can rest. This is one of the benefits of creating content. You become more introspective. You start thinking about things that happened in the past, things that could happen in the future. You start acting a little bit differently. You start treating things a little bit differently. So hopefully you guys like this conversation. This video will be up pretty soon on the channel. If you guys have questions, what I would like to do is I would like to do a Q&A where I sit down and I have a list of questions that people ask and I just answer them. So if you've got questions, make sure they're good questions, not silly questions like how much you make. Because what I make has no impact on what you make or what you could make. And probably won't have any impact because you still got to create the content. If you've got questions, leave them down below and I'll be happy to answer them. I need to make a thumbnail, so I'm going to do that right now. All right, so you guys have a great day and we'll talk soon.